It is now 6 o'clock sharp. We start the meeting on October 23rd, 2014. And we have a call to order. Roll call.
Normally, if we just did the roll call, we just move on and say we've already done a roll call, that's all the same, but we can do the
No,
prayer
it's
and the
okay.
pledge. and
I'm
that.
all right with it. Nobody left.
Okay.
Justin, you want to do the prayer for tonight?
You bet.
Thanks.
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we just come before you, God, and just seek your counsel, Lord. Lord, we just pray for the leaders of this country, God, leaders of this town, of the state. Lord, just give them your counsel, God. Just give them wisdom in these situations of safety, God. And Lord, we just pray for your wisdom for tonight's meeting. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. Andy, you want, since you're so dressed up tonight, you want to handle the Pledge of Allegiance? Super.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, you see, that's how this Navy coat goes.
You want to do a modeling show for us? Let's see here. I don't have much of a report, and I want some people, since we did talk budget earlier, I think we ought to take some consideration time for some of the expenditures that might be coming up. And one of them, and this is something we have to think about, one of them would be the cost of name change for the city. And it's nothing we have to decide on now, but we ought to start considering that. Other than that, I have nothing else to say other than let's get this meeting rolling. All right, we need an agenda approval. Do we have a motion for that?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for October 23rd, 2014.
I would second that.
We have a motion by Justin Olson to approve the agenda. Do we have a second? I'll be informal. Thank you, Andy. We have a second by Andy Wilson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the minute approval.
I'm sorry, you need to say the motion's carried.
Okay, the
Whether it
motion's
passes
carried.
or not. Thanks.
Okay, minute approval. We need a motion from anybody who would,
I make a motion that we approve minutes for October 9th, 2014.
okay, we have a motion by Mark Fennison to approve the minutes for 2014, October 9th. And do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Voucher approval. Need a motion for the vouchers.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers for the end of October 2014 in the amount of $56,981.77, and the first half of October 2014 in the amount of $18,302.15, for a total for October of $75,283.92. Is this not correct?
It's not, there's a new total. I forgot to give it to you. You approved the right total in here, but let me correct it.
Break the tension in the air, we can relax.
I went through a whole stack and
I
signed off on it earlier.
So did I.
That's the current total. It's lower.
Oh, this was the correction you said when I was here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I make a motion to approve the vouchers for the end of October 2014 in the amount of $55,954.93, and the first half of October 2014 in the amount of $18,302.15, for a total for October of $74,257.08.
Okay, we have a motion on the voucher approval by Joe Scheid. Do we have a second?
I second that.
Second by Justin Olson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, public comments. Do we have any, Jill?
regular city council meeting. Yes, we have one public comment by Matthew Allison.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Matthew Allison, and I came down here a few months ago about the garbage. And they said that it wasn't the right time, so I'm down here again. Apparently it should be the right time. Are you guys gonna put his contract back through? And I'm hoping you guys don't, because I'd rather pay a little bit extra for garbage and get the stuff that I would like the recycling and everything else through the maze, and pay him for the garbage bill, and he don't recycle, so we have to haul our own garbage off in Vader here. So I don't know when his contract's up. I know it's end of the year. Way I've understood. So
I can check on that and get back to you.
well, that's what you said a month ago.
Well, the last time we did a budget check on LeMay versus the person we're carrying, it was more than twice what we currently pay.
But he don't offer no recycling.
But
And
nobody.
we're still paying.
Well, this is not to argue, I don't
I'm
even have to
not
refute
arguing.
it, but I'm just gonna tell you, that's why it is where it is.
But why don't instead of the city backing him up, why don't he just go to each person in town and do the business through him instead of having the city going, oh, you got to go through this person instead of this person. Because a lot of people in this town that I've talked to rather pay the little extra and get what we need.
Okay.
It'd be double, is what he's saying.
But still, you're still getting a big can and everything else through the maze.
Time's up.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
The option of giving people more than one garbage company for the city, I've never checked into that, whether we can do that or not. We may be able to offer an option, I don't know.
The last time that was checked, they want the city as a contract, they won't come in here for 1 or 2 pickups.
That may be what we find, but if
Yeah.
you would like, I could check into it, but it has to get council approval to spend time on that.
Andy?
Several years ago, we found out that Mr. Clevenger was cheaper than anybody else. Then comes along Jeff, now I'm talking about way back when, and we talking about Jeff. We found out that Jeff was cheaper than anybody else. And then we also found out that those big garbage trucks could not come down to some of our alleys because of the way they lift their
Right.
things, and it was on account of also power lines. And when it was talked to them personally, they more or less said, well, we'd have to jump the rates way up because we're gonna have to do this and do this. And that's why I was still mayor, I think, or I was city councilman anyway. We went and signed a contract with Jeff and stayed that way because Jeff was cheaper and more available to the people than the other outfit.
When I first came on the council, that was open for discussion. The same topic was brought up, and LeMay was checked out. And LeMay garbage was more than twice what we're paying. And it was more restrictive also. So if you want to follow up on it, it's fine, but
I just do it if council wants me to. If you guys don't want
okay,
to, I
I'll
got
put it
other
out
things
there.
to do.
If you guys want that, how many would say, are you in favor of Jill researching it and see what she comes up with? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, carries, go ahead.
That's 2 to 2.
No, I said aye.
Oh, you said I, oh,
Sure.
I'm sorry, okay.
Yeah. Go ahead and do it.
I was
Pardon me?
gonna say, you had a gentleman raise his hand.
Yeah, Bob Goff.
Sure.
Is there a way that we could, within our city, provide pickup for, I know that people drop trash off and stuff, but for the cardboard and plastic and.
I know what you're talking about, yeah. We don't have any place to dump that, and then we don't have any way to haul it.
Well, I mean, we could contract through him to haul our bins off, but we could buy bins
The individuals in town,
something to-
the individuals in town, you have, I could be wrong on this, but I think you have a right, pardon me?
I don't think Jeff will provide.
No, Jeff doesn't, but the individual has a right to call a trash hauler and come in and pick up your stuff and haul it out anytime you want. Last question on this, Matt.
But on his bill, he offers recycling, but he don't offer recycling. He says that he's a recycler, but it's all goes into the
He
same truck.
recycles, he takes it from here and recycles it to the
He
dump.
throws it right into the guy.
Sure.
That's recycling.
Well, something that we also could look into, I'm friends with one of the gentlemen that work for Lewis County Waste and Recycling, and they have small outreach areas in the county where, you know, they have dumpsters permanently set up for cans and cardboard and everything. And he said that the county would probably be willing to entertain something like that if the city had space for it.
There
But then you'd have to.
there was one.
But then you'd
in,
have to take it there. They wouldn't come to your house.
Right, there was one
Yeah,
in
that's what we
Toledo.
do, already.
There was one in Toledo, and because of lack of use, it was shut down.
Right. And the county's been looking for a replacement for
Yeah.
that one.
What about the recycling bin that was down here at Three Corners?
Paper bin.
Yeah, the paper bin.
They wasn't making any money.
It's not there
No,
anymore.
it's not, no.
What was
Well, they
that?
have to drop off behind the station.
Well,
there.
let's move on. Jill, you can follow up on that, and we'll just move on to the next item.
And I'll also look into the county as well and see how much they're really willing to do as far as an outreach center in Vader for a local drop-off. So I have a connection there.
Okay, well, let's move on to unfinished business. Wastewater treatment topics, Resolution 10/2014, authorizing to sign contract amendment to change payment due date from July to June of each year. That sounds pretty straightforward to me.
Yeah, the Department of Commerce sent a letter saying, you need to change our contract. So they're kind of telling us we need to do it. But in order for the mayor to sign an amendment, we have to get a resolution. So,
They want their money a month earlier.
yeah, they're changing
Right.
when the revenue comes in.
They're doing it on a 6-month basis instead of a 7th month.
I think they're just shifting it 1 month.
Right,
So 1 year will only pay 11, like this year, in 2015, we'll only pay 11 months worth or something like that. And then the next year it'll be back to 12 months. We end up paying the same, it's just when we give it to them.
so do we need a motion on that?
Yes, there's wording down at the bottom of that first page.
I move to approve resolution 10-2014, resolution of the City Council of the City of Vader, Washington, authorizing the mayor to execute an amendment to the Public Works Trust Fund contract, which amends the annual repayment date to June 1st of each calendar year.
We have a motion to move ahead on Resolution 10/2014. Do we have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Second by Joe Shy. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Mike Marshall of Gibbs and Olson to present invitation, but he's not here.
He's not here. He asked if I would just explain to you guys. This is our bid document. Well, it's not a bid document yet. This is the advertisement that will go out in the newspapers and in the state agencies to hire a contractor to work on the first round of private side sewer replacements. We have 33 approved applications right now that are ready to go to get their side sewers replaced. And so we need to hire a contractor to do that. And so that's what this invitation to bid, that's the way first we don't talk. Well, we do. He has to get this advertisement approved, so council approves the advertisement. They don't see anything wrong. It has been approved through, Kathy Reed has looked at it, right? The invitation to bid, or was it just Connie? Okay. Then it was just Connie at the Department of Commerce has looked at it and approved the wording of the bid as far as our grant contract is concerned. And I didn't see anything that looked strange or weird, so if you guys have any questions or concerns, I can take it back to them, or if you're okay with it, then you could approve it, then we could get it published right away.
Let's bring it up for comment. Anybody have any new, have they read over their bid document?
It looked fine to me.
Okay to me.
Okay, let's bring it up for a vote then. This doesn't require a resolution, we just have to say yea or nay, correct?
Right.
All those in favor?
Well, we have to put a motion on the table.
Okay.
It's not in form of resolution, sorry.
All right, all those, does anybody want to put a resolution on the table?
I'll make a motion to approve this invitation to bid for the side sewer replacement project, phase 1.
I'd second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Joe Shy, and we also have a second by Justin Olson. All right, now open, anybody have anything to say or discuss about it? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Okay, discussion about animal control options.
Sorry, it's me again.
What's that?
I said, sorry, it's me again.
Oh, we're still here.
So you each got a list of what I was sent from the animal control as far as the costs are concerned. They said that they didn't need to have any kind of a special contract with us or interlocal. What they did say was that they charge the cities $50, one flat $50 rate for an animal that's turned in. We would need to bring the animal up there to be impounded or whatever, but they don't charge us per day or any of that kind of stuff. But what they can do is if the animal is claimed by an owner, then they can require them to come to the city and pay that $50 back to us before the animal is released. I don't know how many times that happens, but so as the checking into the animal shelter and kind of what our options are, they said that it didn't matter if we had our own. One of the things Officer Breen suggested was that if we set up our own little kennel and kept the animal here for a couple of days, maybe a week, and tried to find the owner ourselves, that the shelter might be able to give us a financial break. But when I talked to them about that, they said no, that wasn't really anything that they did. They just went ahead and give the city government itself the $50 rate, which is lower than the standard if somebody were to just walk in. And that's how they give the city a break. They said we would need to bring the animal up because they don't always have somebody who can come get him. And if they do come get him, he said I think they said it was $70 for the 2 hours. And then you have to pay mileage on top of that, so you end up over $100 to have the animal picked up. The mayor asked me to talk to our public works person who is here just about 5 days a week and see if he would be willing to transport the animal if we needed to, and he said he would be willing. Of course, not any vicious or dangerous animal that we would call a sheriff if somebody's life was at risk, but he was willing to do that, put the animal in the kennel and bring it up to the shelter and drop it off, if council wants to do that. One suggestion, as the mayor and I were talking about it, is the idea of, I think in 2014, I think it was $600 is how much revenue we had from animal dog tags being purchased. So I suggested to the mayor, what if we just said whatever money we get in this year on dog tags, we can use that money towards the taking animals to the shelter. When the money runs out, and we can't do it anymore. But that was just an option, and so you guys don't have to make a decision unless you want to. But that was just kind of the best idea that we came up with together. Are there any other ideas or options that you guys can think of that might be beneficial?
Somebody mentioned last time about another county that had some type of operation that, they said something to that effect, that we might be able to get them to operate here. for so
Yeah, I
much?
think that might have been Miss Swords who said that at the last meeting, and no, I didn't check into that.
That was just a thought. I wasn't presenting that that is the case. I know they've done it in other states and other areas where your little town can pay for the privilege of using their town, but that's all I know. Be worth looking into, I don't know, but this is pretty good.
Well, who's gonna pick up the dog? Who's gonna pick up the stray dog and take him to the public works office?
Well, the suggestion is that if somebody has a found animal, that he could pick
Place
it
to
up.
drop off.
And, yeah, we would have a dog crate and put in his truck or whatever, and we could transport the animal up there. I don't know about chasing a dog around town. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. That wasn't discussed, but just the idea of transporting the animal. We had another phone call this week, a lady that had, she said, my husband looked out the window and there was a guy dumping his dog out of his car right in our yard. And my husband opened the door and yelled at him, and they just took off, sped off and left the dog. The dog was scraggly looking. It was it was probably full grown, but it was a young, what do they call it? Some kind of a hound, a hunting dog. She had a name for it. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But it's sitting on her porch now. It won't go away. And now she's got a dog, and she's, what am I going to do with it? It's chased my cat away. Now my cat won't come, you know. And we just tell them, sorry, we don't have anything to offer you. And so, yeah. Oh, that's not my. Kevin.
Yep. Andy?
This has been going on for 30 years, no kidding. And the only time we've really been successful is when we had 3 public works people. And you could send the public works people out, like at the city, you get a call. You could send the public works people out, and then we had a little gauge pen up there for water treatment plant, and also down at the sewer plant, off and on at different times. And that would work for a day, and then we could, public works guy, take him up to and that, it worked.
Mhm.
But we don't have the facilities anymore, we don't have the employees, enough people to handle things like this, and so I know we're in a pretty bad, deep situation.
We don't have a kennel anymore?
We do have the kennel still. It's not set up, but we do have the
Do
kennel.
we have a place where we could set it up?
The only place that we've been able to come up with is maybe down at the waste treatment plant.
You're probably right.
We already have a public works person who's really pressed right now, so to give him that job, then it would be beyond the hours that he already has. So we don't have the person.
Okay, that sounds good. I could listen to a howling dog.
But we don't have the personnel to tackle that. Or we don't have it in the budget, because we'd have to give him a lot more hours to be chasing dogs
Yeah,
and.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I think the idea was, what the mayor was thinking was just if somebody came in with a dog and said, I've got this dog that somebody left, or I found it, it's hanging out around my garbage, it won't go away, it doesn't have a tag, at least have an option for them, something to do with the animal, and at that point, he would transport. I don't think the idea was for him to chase dogs around town and that kind of thing, but just when we get these phone calls.
We'd have to have a kennel put up.
No, well, the idea is that we would have one of those dog crates, like
Right.
are in the car. That we'd just have a big one, and he could throw it in the back of his truck, he could drive over to the person's house, put the dog in, and drive it up to the shelter. He'd have to get approval from the mayor or whatever to do that, and then that would cost. We could even, you could even use, if you wanted to use the animal control fees to pay for his extra time, instead of having that come out of his regular salary.
Right, because we don't have the extra money in his budget for that.
Right.
What's in that fee for the animal control fees that we're getting now?
Let's look here and see. It just depends on how many licenses we get during the year, and let's see. Animal controls on page 4.
Sneak it up on me.
We got $696 this year.
So that's just sitting there.
Well, we use it for other things.
Yeah, so why don't we apply that funds then and set it up where he could take them to the pound and get rid of them?
That's up to you.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a good
That sounds
option
like-
at the moment. I mean,
Right.
we don't have anything else to offer the folks, so
Okay,
At
I'll
least-
put it on the table.
get the animal out of town.
Anybody want to
in
make a
safe
motion
place.
that we approve that? 'Cause I think we need a motion to approve that, don't we?
Oh, yeah, we would.
Okay.
A motion to allot those particular funds for that purpose.
Anybody want to step up to the window?
What was the total of those remaining funds? 600?
696 is how much we brought in this year.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to allot the $696 of, or dog, to the animal shelter cost.
No, we don't want to allot it all because it's used for other things. So we can say that we want to have the cost of putting our public works employee to transport the animals, that cost can be drawn from the animal fee, animal collection fee,
Okay,
whatever it is. Does that sound all right?
yeah.
Do
So,
you want
I
to put a
can't-
cap on how much? She said 696, but you said.
I don't think we should put 696 because we're using that for other purposes.
Right,
So-
and we only have 3 months left in the year, less than 3 months in the year, so.
Let's cap it at $400 and so that leave us something
So
there.
you want to amend the motion?
Yeah, I'll amend the motion, to use to make an allotment, for the $400 for our public employee, for extra work of sheltering lost animals.
Okay, we have a motion by Justin Olson to allot for the remaining $600 to housing and transporting any lost animals that are brought to the city. Do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I think it might be worthwhile to look into that, just to see,
Mhm.
and see how much, what kind of a figure per year they would charge, if it was available,
Mhm.
and see what it compares to.
Okay.
Well, we can do that, but that would be separate from the motion because we don't do anything, we're just back to where we were. If we do something, at least have something in process, and then we can work towards it.
Yeah, I'm not against the motion, I'm just,
Okay, well, let's put the
So,
motion.
yeah, I could look into that and find information. We could, if there's an option there that's reasonable,
Yeah.
we could look at implementing that into the 2015 plan.
Okay, let's put the motion up for a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, new business. This part of the meeting is going to be a public hearing on comments regarding 2015 rates and revenues, including property tax levies. So this, we're looking for people from the public to comment,
Comment on revenues.
revenues or taxes.
So you kind of have to treat it like it's a separate meeting. You have to state when it's starting, what time it's starting.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's all right.
And call it to order as a separate.
We'll call this meeting to order at 6:28. And this is a public hearing to discuss 2000 rates, revenues, taxes, and property tax levies. So, anybody wants to say anything, the floor is yours. You have 3 minutes per person.
There's no one signed up. Does anybody want to sign up and speak? Didn't know you needed to do that.
no good.
Doesn't look like it. Looks like we have some comments.
Well, we have no comments, meeting is adjourned. Boom, care of that meeting. Now we go on back to the city council meeting.
Okay, I'm sorry. You have to tell me what time again. Sorry, it's just.
What was the last time I said?
6:28.
It's 6:29.
Okay, excellent.
We had somebody talk for a long time. Okay, planning department. I've got a question for you, Joe. I've got the amendment here. It says ordinance 2014-19, and here it says 2014-20.
Uh-oh,
So,
let's see here. What's on the document itself should be the correct number.
all right, so that's 19.
So,
All right.
yes.
Now, if I understand this correctly, this is the thing we have to get in place so we can do all the other stuff we're trying to do.
Right,
Okay.
exactly. And so the planning commission has already held a public hearing,
Right.
has already considered it, discussed it, worked on it, and they have recommended to council that it be passed. This gives us a process in which to make changes to our comprehensive plan. We didn't really have a process in place. Our attorney felt that was important for our own coverage. And that you'll notice in the back, there's also a public participation plan, which would be adopted as well as an exhibit, which would give us a process. These are all things that make the bigwigs happy to see that we have these kind of things passed, and we have a plan in place.
And we
And
have
it's
an
been
audit, we have an
approved.
audit coming up, we'd like to, and we want to
Yes,
get through
next
this, so this makes us look really important.
And the Department of Commerce has already approved this plan, has reviewed it and approved it for us, so.
I didn't see any problem with that.
Okay, then we need someone to put forward a motion on this.
I'll make the motion.
Super.
Where's that big motion? There was a big one.
We had the big one.
All right. I move to adopt City of Vader ordinance number 2014-19, an ordinance relating to land use and zoning, amending section 2.015 of ordinance number 2006-09, relating to adoption of comprehensive plan and development regulation amendments, eliminating all of the city's existing code provisions on the subject, and adopting new procedures which describe the different types of development regulation and comprehensive plan amendments, including Exhibit 1, a public participation plan as attached hereto, and formatting into a code chapter 17.10 to the future Vader Municipal Code and adding an effective date.
Okay, we have a motion put forward by Joe Shy, move to adopt the City of Vader ordinance number 2014-19. I don't have to read the whole thing again, do I? No. So do we have a second on that?
I'll second.
Second by Mark. Do we have any discussion on this? Okay, let's bring up the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we have one more item of business, our changing times in Vader. Planning Department changes in personnel. That's our planner. He resigned.
We did.
So what we have to do as a city council is we have to give the mayor permission to find us a new city planner. He cannot advertise for bids without our permission. So I guess, do we need a motion for that approval?
Yeah, just a motion to advertise for a new planner.
You'll say advertise for about.
Are you putting a motion together, Andy? Okay, we have a motion by Andy Wilson to give the mayor permission to advertise for a new city planner. Do we have a second on that?
I second that.
Second by Justin Nolan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Justin Olson.
Was there a reason he resigned?
Something to do with an overload of work. He couldn't
yeah.
handle it.
Well, it just, he worked for more than one city, and the other city that he worked for, that he's been working for years, had a big case come up, and it's taken up all of his time, and he says that he can do both if he doesn't have a family, and he decided he needed to be with his family, so he apologized profusely. He didn't want to do this, but he needed to for his family, he said, so.
Okay, that is everything on the agenda. That's it for tonight. Meeting adjourned.